Oh, snap. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. My name's Patrick. If you like true crime, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, and hit the thumbs up button. I'm live every single night talking about all kinds of different cases. Tonight is pretty heavily Mica Miller. There's all kinds of things going on, y'all. Thanks for all the follows over on TikTok as well. We're live on TikTok, all three platforms. But let's jump straight into this because I saw it was crazy. All cell phone, video, audio evidence, all kinds of stuff. So let's just go right into it, y'all. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the off the grid action too. ThehauntedSide.com. Find ways to support the channel if you would like to. Keep in mind, you don't have to, but I do appreciate it, y'all. All right, here we go. I'm going to shrink myself down, and let's get this thing started.
I'm just pleading that they do, more. I'm pleading that they please, check into this.
This is her dad. And by the way, y'all, if you can't see the video, you can pop on over to YouTube and you can actually watch the video along with us.
Do some combing, because you will find some connections. You will find some, if nothing else, the influence that drove her to that.
So, okay, I'm just going to pick right on up, y'all, like y'all have all been caught up with us. So Mica Miller's father, Michael Miller, he has been speaking out a lot since we talked last.
Yes, he has.
About this here on my channel.
Yo, it's the Mystery Project on YouTube. Right here. The Mystery Project. It should be pinned on the live right now.
And seemingly some very, very suspicious things have come to light.
And if you want, just click my face and go to the profile. There's a link right there that'll show you. It just says YouTube. You can click it right there. You can find it. All right, let's keep going.
We're going to be talking about the rumors of AI being used during the 911 phone call that I really did not give much
Stella
of a second thought until all of this other stuff came out. And we're going to talk about a lot more, okay? But before we do, I think this is a good spot to tell y'all, everything in this video is alleged. I'm not a professional. Everything that I'm talking about is pulled from very public sources. Go do your own research, form your own opinions. Just don't show hate to anybody anywhere. So other than that, court is coming up for Mica Miller's family as well as John Paul Miller. Now, this is going to be on June 5th. And this hearing has been scheduled in Horry County Family Court to decide who owns the property that was taken into evidence by law enforcement after Mica Miller's passing. Specifically, Mica's sister is wanting to get a hold of her cell phone, her purse, her vehicle, and her clothing, amongst other things. However, John Paul Miller and the church are listed as the defendants. So she's actually having to take them to court to get these things, which I kind of understand why John Paul definitely does not want that cell phone released to anybody but him. So
You what?
And why would that be? She's a wildflower, justice for Mica. Abso-freaking-lutely. Why on earth would you be fighting to do that? To keep that from seeing the light of it? That's weird, y'all.
So he can get in there and do whatever he needs to do first, allegedly, in my opinion. So I'm going to talk to you guys about a couple of the things that Mica's father, Michael, talked about in this interview that I saw, but the bombshell's going to be at the end of this video. But in this interview, he really did fill in quite a few of the gaps that I had or questions about Mica and her history. He said that Mica's first husband was a really great guy. So you guys see the photo. We talked about Mica's first husband in the other video. He said that he was a really, really great guy, and that this guy, and I guess his name is Jeremy, was really good buddies with John Paul, which we talked about that as well. But get this. When the two of them got married, and John Paul was the one that married them in the wedding, this is when Pastor John Paul began to separate the two of them, okay? He began to assign her ex-husband and Mica different jobs, because I guess the husband, Jeremy, was working at the church and helping out there as well. So this is when JP started assigning them separate jobs in separate areas in order to get Mica alone. As a matter of fact, he ended up getting...
You what?
He separated them intentionally to get her alone. And at that point, he was like, what, late 30s and she was early 20s?
Giving Mica a job at the church, working as a secretary for him. So she's working for him. Okay, she's thinking she's got the best job in the world at the church. She's young, she's freshly married, you know, and she is working as a secretary of the church. She's working right under the pastor, who everybody thinks is, oh my gosh, the one that created this and is touched by God.
Hell no.
You what?
Right? Then she starts working as a babysitter as well, because he says, oh, you're so sweet, you know, why don't you come and help out with the kids? So he has got her up underneath him. And at this time, he's like 37 and she's like early. She ended up getting a divorce with her first husband when she was 21. So all before 21 years old. Allegedly, according to Mica's father, after Mica and JP had already gotten together, she asked him, like a lot of women do, when did you fall in love with me? Like, when did you know you were in love with me? And guess what his answer was to her? His response was when he saw her walking down the aisle with Jeremy, her first husband.
How dare you?
What? Dude said that? Where's that guy? Where's Jeremy at listening to that stuff? He must be back there somewhere like, ho, 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 ho. Let me at him. That is crazy as hell. When did you fall in love with her? Oh, when I saw her walking down the aisle with this other guy that was supposed to be my friend.
That's when he fell in love with her.
She ended up working his media for him and doing media designs and such. And so he literally, actually, even from the beginning, even though he presided over their wedding, he started dividing them.
Now, regarding the incident, according to Mica's father, he definitely feels like the police rushed his daughter's case. And I think anybody that followed this from the beginning, and we were all waiting on pins and needles after we heard the 911 phone call, we were all shocked that immediately they put out, it went down the way that it went down, no investigation needed. He said in this interview that there were actually multiple shell casings that were found and a live round. There was also allegedly a hole in the tree. And
yeah, exactly. Our faithless, yep. Christina Randall over on YouTube. Guys, if you come over to the YouTube channel, you can actually see the videos, and then in the description, in the bio, in the description of the video, you can actually find the original videos and all that stuff. And make sure you go subscribe to Christina Randall on YouTube. She's got like 2.5 million subscribers, so you probably already are, but just in case, go show her some love.
And he said that she had bruises like on her hand, and she had other injuries that he believes are defensive wounds, and he said that they were not documented at all, which that's the part that is suspicious to me. Anything else could be really explained away if you think about it, but the fact that they did not document the wounds that she had on her is bizarre.
Are they investigating more
It's strange.
the financial aspect of this?
I can't respond on that. I'm not going to, I'm not at liberty to say what all they're doing.
Somebody said that this isn't new and all that stuff. Yeah, y'all, that's how it works. They usually go over the basis, you know, like the basic points, so that it's not just like random stuff that people are like, what are you talking about? So they're probably just trying to, you know, go over like an overview of the story. And then, like she said in the beginning, there are new things that she wants to talk about. It just, they don't usually put it in the beginning of the video because they want people to watch all of the video. So, I mean, that's pretty much how it is. You can't read the ending of the book until you read the beginning of the book. You know what I mean?
I'm just pleading that they do, you know, more. I'm pleading that they please, you know, check into this, do some combing, because you will find some connections.
Right, exactly.
You will find some.
And keep in mind, there are people that have no idea who this is, so they might need a little bit of a refresher. But it's all good. Hey, y'all do you guys do you. Do that speed reading thing. Lindsay, thank you for the hand hearts too. Very sweet. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much.
So, if nothing else, the influence that drove her to that.
And then also, allegedly, her body was found 130 feet away from where the woman was found. He also said that
Yeah, that part's crazy too. Emma, thank you for the rose.
he was completely shocked that they did not do a full toxicology report and a complete autopsy versus just doing a blood alcohol report, which I am shocked as well too.
And then he rushed to have her cremated as well.
That is bonkers to me that they just gave her a blood alcohol test. And
that is Annie Elise, what do you think?
Unhinged bananas crazy.
Yep.
Nothing else to see if she had anything else in her system or even doing an autopsy.
And why was the body cremated so quickly?
Good question. Because he wanted to. We did not want to. We wanted her to be buried. So if anything, other evidence came to light or some kind of connection was made, she could be exhumed and re-examined. Because unbeknownst to us, there was not an autopsy, and there was only a blood alcohol test done. So during the police briefing, the sheriff's briefing, when we were up in, near the incident site in North Carolina, they said that they have plenty of material they have enough sample material to do multiple tests for a long time. So we said, well, we need to move that forward. And we ended up filling paperwork out on the spot after that briefing to do a full toxicology report because they're either lazy, lackadaisical.
Now, this doesn't mean these two things are related.
Whoa.
But JP going in and rushing the cremation, like immediately rushing it, is a little weird, especially when you find
a little weird.
How dare you?
That's unbelievable. Anytime somebody's rushing to do something, it's like
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Big time. By the way, TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. My name's Patrick. If you like true crime, I'm live every single night. We're talking about Mica Miller tonight, but we talk about all kinds of different cases. Y'all hit me with some likes too. Tap the screen like crazy so TikTok will share the stream out. And keep in mind that if you guys want to actually watch the video with us, not just hear it, you can come over to the YouTube channel or the Rumble channel. Just search The Mystery Project. It's the name that's on the screen. That is the channel on YouTube. That is the channel on Rumble, and you can actually see the video. So a lot of people put the video up on their TV and then they, stay in the chat on TikTok on their phone. But y'all hit the follow button, tap the screen like crazy, do all the things. And thanks for all like the live gifts and stuff, y'all. You obviously don't have to do that. And this channel is not monetized. I know a lot of people monetize their views and everything. This channel is not monetized at all, other than the live gifts and the subscription. So if you want to support the show during the live stream, you can. But you don't have to. I appreciate it. Let's go. Let's keep it going.
Find out that this same exact funeral home has been in trouble before for cremating remains before an autopsy was done.
Ooh.
Yes, there was a previous family that was really upset that their loved one had passed away, and they immediately cremated them. Now let's
Damn. Lily, thank you.
talk about this 911 phone call. There are a lot of people that believe that Mica's voice on the 911 phone call could have been transformed by AI. As a matter of fact, even her own family think that it's a possibility. Let's listen to part of the 911 phone call again.
Robeson County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hi, are you able to trace the location of my phone? I have my location on, I think, on my phone. Find my phone is on.
Ooh, my phone sounds exactly the same.
I just did my my location. I'm about to self, and I just want my family to know where to find me.
Now, even though I don't know what is real and what is not real, what I have found in doing a lot of research about this is that the AI technology is so incredibly good and it is so easy to use or to do It's really almost scary. As a matter of fact, while researching this, I found this video here. Listen to this.
So this is my voice right now.
By using a program called Voice AI, I can, on the fly, replace it with someone else's voice. And depending on who you pick, it can sound very, very convincing.
Just like with visual deepfakes, Voice AI uses machine learning to replace the original voice with a completely synthesized one. Chimpanzees are vicious. I mean, they'll rip your face off.
Chimpanzees are vicious. I mean, they'll rip your face off.
Now, surprisingly, as somebody that literally questions everything and feels like I don't believe hardly anything, that alone is not enough to really pique my interest and to believe that her voice could have been changed using AI and that wasn't really her.
Yeah, but that right there that you were listening to is just an app. That's just some random thing you can download, probably pay $3 for on the App Store. Imagine the stuff that we don't even know about. Because if we have, like as consumers, if we have commercial facing applications of this crazy stuff, imagine the stuff that's deep in a lab somewhere that is just like mind-blowing, right? Unbelievable. Y'all, by the way, hit the follow button if you're new here. My name's Patrick. If you like true crime, tap the screen like crazy too, y'all. Let's get 25,000 likes. All right, here we go.
With a 911 phone call, even when you pair it with the casings found on the ground and all of that stuff. However, this next part does pique my interest. When Tom Winslow of Winslow Law, John Paul's attorney, came into the conversation, this is when things really started to get very interesting. So this guy, Tom Winslow, who is obviously very close with JP because he is his attorney, handling all of his affairs, defending him at all, legal cost. Again, this is all alleged. I don't know this man. This is speculation and stuff that I've read on the internet, but we're going to talk about it, okay? His attorney is not only very close with JP, but he was close-ish or at least around Mica as well. Check this video out.
Ready for our parachute jump, guys. We got our team. We got the team here. We're going to go jumping. Gonna have some fun today. That's what we do at Winslow Law, right? Jump in the courtroom, jump out of a plane. You don't have to jump out of the plane with us, but you might. Tiffany wants to. Yeah, he's too scared to do it. Michael will do it. But we're all going to jump out of a plane, guys. So watch. Come down to Winslow Law. Watch us jump out of a plane if you want to. And come down and do it with us.
So you've got this attorney that's very close with JP and Mica at some point. Okay, y'all got that picture. Now, despite the fact that when JP was literally on the pulpit speaking to his congregation in October of 2023, allegedly he ended up speaking about having ended all thoughts. Okay, so October 2023, he's up there in public speaking about having these thoughts.
So for the past 4 weeks, I've had the most horrible battle and horrible time of my entire life. I've never, ever, not even close, been through what I'm going through right now in life. Not even close. Horrible. I mean, horrible, so bad. I'm seeing a psychiatrist every week. I'm on 900 milligrams of lithium. I'm seeing a counselor every week. I'm going to inner healing. I'm going to deliverance 3 times a week with pastors in the area. I'm doing everything I can just to be able to get out of bed. I'm so depressed. I want to die. I'm battling suicidal thoughts. I have unforgiveness, hatred, demons coming out of me. Horrible.
Just 2 months later, in December of 2023, Tom Winslow was the attorney that orchestrated the legal filings of healthcare power of attorney over Mica. So JP's up there even preaching it to allegedly his people, talking about having ended it all thoughts. 2 months later, this Tom Winslow helps draw up the papers so he can have this power of attorney over Mica like he's the sane one and she's not.
When my wife went in the hospital, I looked at her phone and I counted over the past 2 years 18 people who had texted her and said, if you ever want to talk about your husband, you can talk to me and say anything and I'll keep it confidential. Why the heck does somebody want to hear what somebody else says about their spouse? And 2 of those 18 were men. One day I'm going to preach about getting rich, strong, healthy, and finding a hot wife that loves Jesus. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just kidding. That was wrong. I told you I shouldn't be here today. I shouldn't be here today.
You what?
Everything this dude says is just crazy as hell.
I told you.
Then it comes out that allegedly text messages received by Myrtle Beach, South Carolina News show that these power of attorney documents were allegedly signed by Mica on December 4th at the church. So he draws up these power of attorney documents for his buddy JP, okay? Allegedly, Mica signs them at the church on December 4th. However, the documents were not notarized until the next day at Winslow's law office. Why is this important? Because documents that are notarized have to be signed in front of the notary. The notary has to be there.
Yeah, you have to do it right freaking there because anybody else could sign it and say they were Mica.
And watch it be signed themselves. That way, that's the whole point of it being notarized. So if she signed it at the church the day before, they didn't get notarized at the office until the following day. They have to be present at the actual signing of the documents to prevent fraud, meaning anyone could have signed that. Meaning John Paul, who knows, could have signed the power of attorney over her health himself, took it to his buddy lawyer's office, and he
signed it there,
notarized it right then and there, and could have, I don't know, gave John Paul power over her without her even knowing it. Then February, just 2 months later, according to the Myrtle Beach Police Department, Mica was involuntarily hospitalized. And something else that I was reading in this article that they said was pretty odd was that JP's power of attorney documents were not even filed until March 20th of 2024.
Yeah, that's months afterwards. Thank you, Divine Technical Tales. Thank you.
Despite having been signed and notarized 3 months prior. So if this isn't weird enough, just hold on to your shimmies because it's really actually going to get
hold on to your shimmies
weirder here in a second. This Tom Winslow guy, again, the attorney that has now orchestrated all this paperwork, claims and brags about the importance of AI in his law practice and how he makes it a part of his firm.
Who would have thought that in a legal scenario 20 years ago when I started practicing that AI would be the next lawyer? It's going to become more and more prevalent as we move forward in our legal world.
Then to take things to the next level
of
strange, this guy Tom actually owns 200 acres of land that backs up to the state park where Mica's body was found at Lumber River State Park.
That part, yo. That part, y'all.
Imagine that. Now, when I dug into that more, allegedly his property, the 200 acres that literally backs up to that river right there, or that lake, is about 8 miles from where her body was found. However, I mean, there's boats, just...
What? What the fuck?
8 miles from where she was found? I mean, come on.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
It's really weird. I am still not 100% on board that I think somebody else was there with her, but I can definitely see why people do. And with everything else, I would not be shocked. Now get this.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Remember the ex-wife? We spoke about her in the other video. Whenever she ended up leaving John Paul, and I know right now she's like, thank you, Jesus, hallelujah, but she ain't get out easy, okay? She had it rough too. John Paul got with Mica. But what a lot of people did not know is this man that's standing up on his pulpit preaching,
Nurse KK, thank you,
was also allegedly still stalking her while he was with Mica. Some police reports that have been released say this. On March 6th of 2016, the victim, and in this, it seems like, I gotta say it like this because I was not there and I don't know. The victim is the ex-wife and the offender is John Paul. The victim reported that the offender constantly stalks and harasses her. The victim said the offender is her, I believe it says, ex-husband, John Paul Miller. And since their breakup, the offender will not leave the victim alone. The victim said the offender comes to her job, to her new church, and very often her home. Now, I don't know if this next part is the words that I think it is. Y'all let me know if you think it's something else, but I'm gonna fill in this blank here with what I think it is, and oh my gosh. The victim says the offender uses the children or the kids for an excuse to see her, and the victim feels sure the offender comes to her home when she is not there. Several months ago, reporting officer responded to the victim's residence at the request of her father, who stated that the offender was lying in the victim's front yard. The victim was not home at the time. At the time, the offender appeared to be...
Oh, that is that video that we listened to a few days ago where he sounds crazy as hell, just sitting in the yard, laying in the grass, being like... And like the dude's like, are you okay? You said this is because of your medicine? You sound crazy as hell. And he's just like, just sounding nuts. Y'all remember that one? We all were just sitting there like,
You what?
huh? Yeah, unbelievable.
under the influence of something, and rescue was
Under the influence of something? Oh, God.
notified to respond. The offender refused treatment and said that maybe he got his medication mixed up and took his sleeping pills instead of his other medication. A few months later, the offender was at the victim's residence wanting to take blank for ice cream, but the victim refused to let, I think it says, the kids go because the offender was injured and taking medication. The victim said the offender was in no shape to drive and was not safe to let the kids go with the offender. Reporting officer responded to the incident as well and did determine that it was not safe for the offender to take, I believe it says, the kids. So that's just one part. Now think about this. We know what kind of person he is and how he's taken Mica's stuff, got these documents signed, all this. Imagine her divorcing him, getting away from him, and he's showing up to the house while she's at work. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, kids. Y'all, oh, hey, come in, give you a... So he's going into the house with the kids when she ain't there, probably rummaging through her stuff, looking through her things. Like, can you imagine? But that ain't all, y'all. Check this out.
Oh, my God, there's more. What the hell is wrong with this dude? Ugh. Unfreaking believable. By the way, TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. A bunch of new people on YouTube as well. We got almost 300 people watching on YouTube. Thanks for popping in, y'all. My name is Patrick. If you like true crime, I'm live every single night. We talk about new cases like this one, past cases, everything in between. So subscribe if you're on the YouTube channel right now. Y'all hit the thumbs up button. TikTok, take a second, hit the follow button, tap the screen like crazy on TikTok too. Let's get 50,000 likes. We're also on Rumble, y'all. So TikTok, if you want to come over and watch the video, YouTube is the Mystery Project. Same thing on Rumble. It's the Mystery Project. Come over and actually see the video if you guys want to. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the love, you guys. Seriously. All right, let's keep going.
Another report says the victim said since those prior incidents, there have been many more, such as the offender coming to the victim's new job, bringing blank with him when he has visitation, and telling the victim blank wanted to see her. The victim has custody of the kids and is with them most of the time. So he gets his visitation with the little ones, and he uses them as an excuse to go up to her work and says, oh, they want to see you. Can you imagine? The victim says that she has a new church separate from the offender. And since she has chosen a new church, she says the offender has gone to her church and asked the counselor for counseling. In addition to go into the victim's job and the church, the victim said the offender texts and calls her constantly and has been begging the victim to spend 40 days and 40 nights with him without interference. The offender told the victim that it...
You what?
40 days and 40 nights with him without interference? What the does that mean? And to be fair, I don't know how anybody could spend 5 minutes with that guy. We watched some of his little sermon, his little, you know, I don't know if you want to call it that, his little church videos, and the shit that man says was so insane that I'm surprised people were still sitting in there. Like it, I mean, seriously, like, you know, used to, when you were kids, you used to go to like with your friends, you'd spend the night at your friend's house, and they're like, oh, pack your church clothes, we're going to church. And you're like, oh, cool. If I had went to a church like that and I hear this man up there talking all like that, I'm gonna be like, what? Hell no.
You what?
I must be like, everything he says, I'd be sitting in the back row just being like,
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop fucking lying.
because he sounds crazy as hell, doesn't he? Thumbs up in the chat if you guys agree. Seriously, thumbs up in the chat if the dude's outside of his mind. Thumbs down if you're like, no, makes sense. Totally makes sense. All of it makes sense. Nothing weird here. Y'all let me know.
It is God's will for him to move back into the victim's house. The victim has refused to allow the offender into her home to stay and says she has no desire for the offender to ever move in with her. Within the past month, the victim said the offender has moved.
That dude really said that God told me to move back in.
What? What the fuck?
You are dumb. Wait, where's the... Oh, yeah, the...
How could you be so dumb?
That is unfreaking believably stupid. Nobody believes that, JP. Nobody believes that. Wild Loves, thank you for the $5 Rumble rant. Is he bringing all the animals too? Oh, shit. There's some crazy shit going on there. There's some crazy shit going on there. All right, let's keep going. This is nuts. Y'all, over 300 people watching on YouTube. Thank you, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the thumbs up. We got almost 900 people on TikTok. Y'all hit the follow button. Tap the screen like crazy. Lemon Ray in the house. Thanks for the little hand hearts, too. I appreciate it, y'all.
Moved into a house directly across the pond, y'all, and in front of the victim's house. He got a house across the pond facing hers. This ain't the first time this whole Mica thing. This is this guy. The offender will call or text and tell the victim that he sees her when she leaves and comes home, and the offender also lets the victim know when he sees the victim has company. The victim said that the offender told her the only thing blocking his view, not allowing the offender to have complete visual access to the front of the victim's residence, is a magnolia tree that is planted in the middle of the cul-de-sac. The wife said that she has noticed several times a white substance spreading around the base of the tree and has realized that the substance is Epsom salt.
Epsom salt? He's putting salt around the tree trying to kill the tree?
How dare you?
That's some crazy shit right there. I didn't know that. Did y'all know that?
Feels sure that the offender is placing a large amount of salt around the tree in effort to kill the tree. She said that the reason she believes the offender is the one responsible for the salt is because he used to use the same technique to kill a few trees that were on the property where the church is. And it goes on and on and on. And yet this man had everybody believing that Mica was delusional. She was seeing things, all these different things. She had all these different diagnoses. There's another police report that I will pop up right here where she says while he was living in that house across the pond, he was shining a doggone green light through to her garage, spying on her some way, somehow. Like, this man has to be stopped, y'all. I am thinking about Mica's family, and I want them to get the justice that they need. But the Bible speaks very clearly about false prophets. And I mean,
yep.
People can preach for 50 years and you never know. But I mean, the warning signs with this one, that's exactly what was said by Mica's friends, was that he was trying to mess her up at her new church.
When we first met them, I saw what, on the surface, it seemed to be, a happy relationship. There were just some things that I saw. Got to know them more and ways that he would speak to her at times, and just was just kind of red flags. I can't say it was one particular incident. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it was just kind of a consistent way that he treated her, and honestly, in some ways, he kind of treated a lot of women that way, from what I saw.
Now this brings us to the last part. Something that Mica's father said in the interview. He said that Mica,
or where she was located,
told him in confidence after she had already finally left JP, because you know how it is when you're in a bad relationship or whatever, and you finally start telling your family everything that happened and just unloading, right? Especially him, because he always preached about loyalty and, you know, forgiveness and those things, and it was always sending a message to somebody. A lot of the times her.
Pride and mental illness, or I think mental illness is probably the most horrible thing we can face in our bodies, and pride is probably the most horrible thing we can face in our spirits. And here's why. When you're
I think you're the most horrible thing we can face just in life, JP. That's my own opinion. And you are lucky as hell that it's not illegal to be a dirtbag. Because that's life right there. That's life. Just dirtbag.
mentally ill, it's the one sickness you have that you don't know you're sick. And you have to trust people around you, because you're saying, no, they're lying to me. They're telling me I need medicine. I don't need medicine, because the thing that's sick is your mind. And your mind is what you need to realize that you're sick.
Mica's
Bro, you sound crazy as hell.
You what?
dad told a little story about JP and Mica going and picking up and her watching him. Listen to this.
And this is so sad because she didn't even tell me until this year, until literally like a few months ago. She said, Dad, he had me in the car. We would be driving after dinner, and he would just say, hey, let's go get a prostitute. Just like nonchalant, no big deal. He used her
You what?
remarks to say she was crazy because she made a comment saying, if I'm pregnant at this time, it could be a black baby. And he said, that's just so dumb. That doesn't make any sense at all. She's crazy. Well, he had sex in front of her with a black guy because she didn't want to have anything to do with it.
You what?
Huh? He
Clank, diddy, clank, diddy, clank, clank, clank.
with a dude? He did? What the hell kind of crazy ass shit is going on here?
And then he admitted in their area and such, and for his pleasure, and because Mica didn't want to participate at that point. She was just shocked, and so she was just thinking there's that could be possible. That's why she said that, not because she's crazy, because he submitted her to that. He demanded it of her, and that there was multiple occasions of this happening.
Now, I don't know for sure.
Man, you're gonna burn in hell for that shit. You seriously, you can burn in hell for that.
Sure, but I would have to assume, especially since we saw the video in the last video that I did where he was taunting her about the photo that she sent him, saying, oh, I'm going to upload it now. It'll be on Facebook within I would have to assume there are other things that happened that Mica maybe hasn't spoke of. Maybe they're documented somewhere. And I would have to
like her phone,
assume that JP has been holding this over her head. Like, if you make me look bad, if you do anything, I'm going to tell.
If she makes you look bad, oh my God, dude. Everything about yourself is making yourself look bad. And you're about to get a really, really harsh wake-up call to a little thing we like to call accountability. Because that is some crazy shit.
About this and this and this. And it's probably all just too much on top of the stalking, on top of the other things, the trackers on her car, the sharp objects in her tires to flatten her tires.
And he was just trying to convince people that
she was just mentally ill, delusional, making things up. But then when you read those police reports from 2016 from his ex-wife, about him literally moving in the house across the lake, shining green lasers through, pouring Epsom salt around the base of a tree, hoping it would die so he can see her, showing up at her house. What do y'all think?
She said, Damn. Kimberly, thank you for the hand hearts, y'all. I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Let's keep it going. So I grabbed a whole bunch of videos. I think there's a couple of News Nation videos followed by another update video as well. So let's keep trucking along, y'all. Let's keep trucking along. Hit the follow button if
Mica
you're new
Miller's
here.
father says no way. Mica Miller's sister says not a chance. They say it is impossible to believe the official narrative of Mica's tragic and untimely death on April 27th.
Right? Finn, thank you.
Suicide by self-inflicted gunshot. By now, we have all seen the video of Mica buying the gun alone, and we've all heard the 911 call where she tells the dispatcher her plan. But Mica's family says you just have to look at the video. This is Lumber River State Park in remote Robeson County in North Carolina. Mica's family went there in person, and they recorded this video, which was given to News Nation exclusively. And when they mention her estranged husband, Pastor John Paul Miller, they call him Junior. Take a listen.
So over here would be where her remains were found down the river, and then all the way through this trail, all the way up here, was where her purse and her phone was found.
And this water is not moving; it's just
Not at all.
stagnant water.
It's not moving at all.
So
y'all, that water is still.
Presumably, how would she?
There is no logical explanation with the.
Or just keep it on if you could.
The theory of suicide does not add up to me, because you're telling me her body floated all the way down this stagnant water, and her belongings were all the way up here. We had to walk down a trail, a separate trail, climb through all this mud and trees and fallen debris to even get to where her body was down the water. It's not like she could have, left her belongings and walked down the water and then committed suicide down here, and then somehow the bullets and everything stayed over there. There's no
And the gun was found up here.
There's no logical explanation for this.
The live round wasn't hit by the hammer, so it was ejected, which of course is not what you do if you know what you're doing with the weapon, and Mica does. She's not going to eject a live round to fire it. She already knows that it's ready to fire.
Custom design, thank you.
You do not believe she took her own life?
I do not. I believe that it was all staged. I believe that the whole thing was premeditated. I believe that the narrative was established by Junior all the way through. Before there was a release, like the day we were notified, he was already saying, she did it, she did it. Why would you do that if you don't have all the information yet? Why would you not be grieving on?
Gee, I wonder.
Grieving and just, he has not shown
Rhonda, right?
any remorse, no grief. He shows nervousness. He shows guilt. He shows, that he is hiding something.
Should also know that those flowers weren't there, so don't think that Mica went to the flowers. That was placed there by the family as a memorial. Her dad believes that his daughter's reported suicide was staged and premeditated, and that her estranged husband might be hiding something.
Erica, thank you. Y'all, thank you for those.
Pastor John Paul Miller denied all of it in a statement from his attorney early on, and it reads in part, following the
Did he write that statement, or did that statement get created using AI? Just a question. I don't know. I'm not these people. Crazy as hell, though. By the way, YouTube, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. We got 400 people watching on YouTube. That's freaking amazing. Thank you so much. Over 1,000 watching on TikTok. Y'all, TikTok, hit the follow button. Tap the screen like crazy. Let's get 75,000 likes. Thank you for all the hand hearts and everything, you guys. You don't have to do that. Keep in mind the TikTok, y'all, it's 100% like unmonetized. I don't monetize the views on the TikTok channel or anything like that. So thanks for the love and the support during the live streams and subscribing to the channel and stuff like that. I appreciate it, but hit that follow button, y'all, and let's keep on going.
Timely death of Mica Miller, unfounded rumors and false accusations began circulating on social media and in various media outlets, suggesting that Pastor Miller's involvement in her demise. This created a buzz, causing local and national media outlets to begin proliferating these falsehoods on a mammoth proportion. Our client refutes any report that suggests he ever abused his wife. Recent reports claim that Pastor Miller groomed his wife from the age of 10 years old. Couldn't be farther from the truth. Today, the Robeson County Sheriff's Office confirmed what we first reported at least a week ago, and that is that the FBI indeed is on the case, conducting what they call a parallel investigation into Mica's death. And we are still investigating too. News Nation has spoken at length with Mica's good friend, Angela, who says that Pastor Miller, Mica's estranged husband, was trying to hijack his estranged wife's attempts to join a different church.
I think one of the big things is she was looking for a church that she felt like she could attend. He was
Brittany, thank you, Amanda, thank you.
Doing what he could to stop her from finding a church, and I kind of knew that because he did that to us when we left the church. He called the church that we started attending and kind of tried to sabotage us there.
That friend told us much more than that about Mica's marriage, her fragile mental state, and the last time she and Mica were in contact, just hours before Mica's death. And you're going to hear all of it right here on this program tomorrow night. The Mica Miller death investigation was supposed to be settled by now. 2 weeks ago, the investigators released a video of Mica alone buying the handgun that fired the fatal shot. And they also released that 911 call in which Mica announces her plan very calmly to the operator to kill herself, wanting the operator to know the location so her family can find her. But that is still not enough for Mica's family to accept that she and she alone, the troubled wife and apparently abusive South Carolina pastor, is responsible for her own death. The family says this new exclusive video of the exact spot where Mica died proves that she could not have shot herself, citing the lack of current that's moving the water and the position of the bullet casings. Tonight, we're also hearing from the very last person to see Mica alive. He's an employee at a gas station where Mica stopped on her way to the North Carolina park where she was eventually found dead. News Nation's investigative correspondent Rich McHugh has been on this story and breaking a lot of leads. He joins me now with that last part. So let's talk a little, Rich, about the video that you have of that exact spot where Mica was found dead. Last night you showed us the Fisherman and the exact spot where he found her things, and it is not the same as where her body was found. What is significant about the spot where her body was found?
Well, this is video that was provided by her family to us, and it basically shows, if you're looking at the video, on screen left at the very top of the video, this is where authorities say were the shell casings, multiple shell casings, and a live round, and where she ultimately took her life. Where the flowers are downstream, this is not even a stream, this is stagnant water. That is where her body was found. And her family's position is that, look, this water is not moving. This is stagnant. There's no way her body came all the way down from up on the screen left all the way down to over here. Now we still.
And by the way, TikTok, if you want to watch the video with us, just search the Mystery Project on YouTube or Rumble, and you can actually see the video that we're watching. And it looks like we got almost 500 people that are on the YouTube live right now too. So shout out to y'all. I appreciate it. And hit the follow button if you're new here at TikTok. My name's Patrick. If you like true crime, we're live every night, literally.
I don't know where in relation to this, to where we were last night outside in the boat, where exactly this is and where this part meets. But this is deep into this area, this cypress forest that the family walked there. They said that to get there, you had to walk through knee-deep water for 20 to 30 feet. Talk to her friends.
Whoa.
They said Mica would not do this. She was wearing her work outfit. None of this makes sense. The family's saying, look, this is evidence that she did not, they believe this is staged. She did not take her life, Ashley.
It's fascinating. I keep saying the same thing. I would never.
Anna Lopes, thank you. Lauren, thanks for following. Mandy, thank you.
Wade into something like that. I'd be afraid of gators or critters or something, or filth. I would
this
just be.
This is gator country.
But then again.
This is gator and snake country.
Right. Yeah. And not only that, but, you know, it would just be, look, I get it. If you're going to take your own life, maybe you're not thinking rationally anyway, would be the argument against that. But it does seem so odd to wander out into that bayou-like body of water to ultimately take your life. So let's talk about the other unique
information
that you learned, and that is that Mica stopped for gas, which again is odd. Why would you fill up your tank if your plan was to take
and do your registration? Oh my God. Not a single one of us wants to do our registration. Like, I'd be like, oh, hell no. Like, I don't even want to do, if I'm like about to leave to go on vacation, I'm gonna be like, nah, that shit's gonna wait. But she's just all of a sudden, oh, you know what? Oh, yeah. You know, let's pay for that registration.
your life moments later? But she stopped for gas and she stopped to get a drink before she ended up in that park. And you've been able to speak to the person who might be the last person to speak with her and see her alive.
Yeah, so this is in Mullins, South Carolina, which is about, I believe, about 40 minutes from here. It's also out of the way from, if you're going a straight line to get to this state park in North Carolina. But I went there, I talked to the owner, I asked him, you know, what she did. She basically came there for 10 or 15 minutes. He said she got an energy drink. But let's hear it in his own words.
Her car was parked over here. Yep. And she used the restroom and pull up and just come around and pull up over here to this pump.
That's where she got gas?
Yes.
And she was here about like 10 or 15 minutes?
Somewhere there.
Okay.
I mean, if you look.
Damn. Rose, it's the Mystery Project on YouTube. It should be pinned on the page on TikTok, y'all. Do you see the Mystery Project on YT? Search the Mystery Project. You should be able to find it.
Because the video it tells all the time, you know, how long she stayed. Yeah, I can say about approximately 10, 15 minutes.
And nothing struck you as unusual?
Nothing. Not at all.
Did she look like she was waiting for somebody here?
No. Not at all. She got the drink, came outside, used the restroom, the party powder, got her gas, and she was left.
Just an ordinary day?
Nothing suspicious, nothing, you know, like just regular day, regular thing.
Now, there's several things that are weird about this, Ashley. Number one is that it's in Mullins, South Carolina, which if you go from here, Myrtle Beach, to Lumber River State Park, it's like 25 minutes out of the way, additionally. So why go there, number one, if you're going to Lumber River State Park? Number two, there's this discrepancy about receipts. People have compared receipts from the day she bought her gas and this energy drink. There were two different receipts. People don't realize that. There's not one, there's two. One for $25. They said they got a new receipt machine days later, and people are kind of losing their minds. He said, much ado about nothing. That is a non-issue.
You okay? Huh?
That's a non-issue.
I thought I was going to see Jesus.
Oh, God. This is like the worst of the worst when he starts doing this shit, y'all. Like, really?
How do you get in there if you're not in a boat?
You can't get in there if you. What do you mean?
How was she in there?
I did not do this.
I got this lady next to her body, and
I did not. What?
down with her body about 4 times this week.
This man that she made claims against, they're like, yeah, go spend some time with her and go lay with her. They failed her. There is so much.
Oh, snap. By the way, y'all, this is another video. This is, I think it was Kayla on YouTube. Go show her some love. She was really close to 100,000 followers on YouTube. The link is in the description on the Mystery Projects video on YouTube.
To talk about today with the Mica Miller case. I cannot believe how many new things have popped up since I last filmed my video that I did about Mica Miller. And even as I was editing that video, every time I would search up her name, there was new things. It just kept popping up. And the last thing that I included was John Paul Miller committing revenge porn against her. I mean, this man is just an absolute scumbag, and with the new information that I've collected for this video, it just reiterates that fact. The information that I've included in this was probably
oh Lord, here we go.
Talked about days ago. So if you've been keeping up with this case every single day, you may have heard some of these things, but some of these things maybe you haven't heard. I was on vacation for my son's 2nd birthday, so I'm just now getting down to film this video. We're gonna go ahead and hop into it because there is a lot of things to talk about. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is the footage that was released of her unlocking her apartment, going inside, and leaving the apartment the day that she took her own life, or that she allegedly took her own life, because a lot of people don't believe that she actually did, and for good reason. I'm not saying that she did or didn't. I'm just saying I can see why many people don't believe it, and I myself, I would just say that I'm skeptical because there's just a lot going on with this.
Because we have working brains.
Case. So we need to talk about this footage. I'm going to first show it to you all.
Question everything, y'all. Question everything.
And let you hear the audio in this footage, because there's something that I want to bring up about this that I saw someone leave a comment about. So go ahead and watch this footage. People discovered that she is listening to an audiobook called Necessary Endings by Dr. Henry Cloud. He's apparently a Christian author with lots of books about boundaries and marriage and relationships and leaving damaged relationships behind with steps moving forward. Another person said she's listening to Necessary Endings by Dr. Henry Cloud. Quite interesting, because this book is about letting go of toxic relationships and bad behaviors. It's kind of disturbing because when you look at this book on Amazon, there is a review by Dave Ramsey that is a New York Times best-selling author of The Total Money Makeover. And his review says, if you're hesitant to pull the trigger when things obviously aren't working out, Henry Cloud's Necessary Endings may be the most important book you read all year.
Whoa.
I don't know. I find this to be unbelievably disturbing. This is what she was listening to that day. This just gets even more messed up the more that I read what this book is about. There are some highlighted quotes from the book. These are some of the popular ones it's showing on Amazon. This one says, without the ability to end things, people stay stuck, never becoming who they are meant to be, never accomplishing all that their talents and abilities should afford them. Another one says, in the absence of real objective reasons to think that more time is going to help, it is probably time for some type of necessary ending. Another one says,
damn.
Failing well.
By the way, y'all, hit the follow button if you're new here on TikTok. Subscribe if you're new on YouTube. And if you guys want to see the video, come over to The Mystery Project on YouTube. Just search it up. You can find it. This is a girl named Kayla. And the link to her channel in this original video is in the pinned or in the description of the YouTube video. So y'all, The Mystery Project on YouTube, come over, subscribe on YouTube, because we're live on TikTok, YouTube, and Rumble at the same time every single night. So come on over, y'all. And TikTok, tap the screen like crazy too. I think we can get 100,000 likes, y'all. Thank you so much. And that just helps spread the word about the live stream, y'all. On TikTok, you got to play TikTok's game.
Means ending something that is not working and choosing to do something else better. From Publishers Weekly, endings are not a tragedy to be first feared and later regretted, but a necessary stage on the way to growth. Now, we also need to watch the footage of her where she was purchasing the gun. Many people have brought to everyone's attention that in this video, she looks a little bit paranoid. She's looking around, looking behind her. It's like she's looking to see if someone followed her. And we know that she reported John Paul Miller and an unknown person, which we all believe is John Paul Miller, to the authorities, saying that she was being stalked by someone. And she also reported that he put a GPS tracking device on her car. Okay, now he has since come out and admitted that he put this device on her car. He has spoken out of his own mouth, yes, I did do this. And you know what he said was his reasoning behind putting the
to keep an eye on her so that she wouldn't go do something like this.
GPS tracking device on Mica Miller's car. He said that he did it because he wanted to see her location, track her, and make sure that she wasn't gonna go and buy a gun.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop fucking lying.
Every time that man says anything, that's all I can say. Every time that dude says a word, I'm like, huh? You wanted to make sure? Oh, really? If that's the truth? If that's the truth, y'all, what do you think? What would be a better way of doing that? Maybe calling that place and saying that. Maybe calling different places and just saying that. Being like, hey, if you see this lady, you know, this, maybe call the police, tell them that. Get it to where she can't purchase something. No, just track her car. What the hell is wrong with these people?
I find that to be interesting.
You are crazy as hell for that one.
Why do you think she's gonna go get a gun? And why is your first thought, hey, I'm just gonna like track her. I'm not gonna report it and what my concerns are for her going to get it. I'm just gonna, I don't know, maybe use one of those Apple devices. I'm not entirely sure how he tracked it, but I'm just gonna track her location. That is not normal behavior. And the fact that he is...
Yeah, exactly. That is not normal behavior at all. Wild Loves, thank you for the $2 Rumble rant. You said, I think the was because she was going to leave him and she needed self-defense. I hope someone looks at that angle more. That's very true. And she's talking about, or she was listening to that podcast or that audiobook, I mean, that was necessary endings, like ending bad relationships.
Saying that he's doing this to see if she's going to go get a gun. And that accompanied with this information that came from one of his friends that he had had a prior conversation with when Mica was still alive. This friend alleges that him and John had a conversation where John Paul Miller told the friend that Mica had been in his backyard with a gun and that he was concerned that she was going to shoot him. And his friend said that the thing that he thought when he told him that, why would she feel the need to shoot you? Like, what did you do where you think she would shoot you? Like, there's some missing context to why.
That's true too.
Why you're afraid.
Why would that be the first thing that you go to?
Do that in the first place. When you have friends who are around them, who are showing concerns and having questions, like, what did you do? It raises some red flags. So there's some history here with John Paul Miller being afraid she's going to shoot him, a friend asking why would she feel the need to do that, and the fact that people around Mica, her family and friends, said that if I'm ever found with a to my head, he did it.
He did it. Whoa.
You what?
Okay, that with the fact,
Davis, thank you,
that her father said that she told him she was going to go get a gun for protection, and the man that she bought the gun from at the pawn shop said that she told him she was getting it from for protection, as she's looking around worried someone is going to pop up behind her. What happened that day that sent her there to get that gun? All of that with the fact that the scene in which she was found, the scene of her death, there's some weird stuff about this, okay? Very weird stuff that just...
Yep. Cardi B, what do you think?
That's suspicious. That's weird.
I would agree. Oh, thanks for that. Davis, thank you so much for hitting the goal.
Doesn't make sense. Now, I need to paint the scene for you here. I'm going to show you this video. This is where she was found.
The body of Mica Miller was found in Lumber River State Park, an hour and a half from her home.
Look at how calm that water is, y'all. It's like not even moving at all.
In Myrtle Beach. According to investigators, Mica took her own life on April 27th. Mica was loved and cherished by many. Today, I spoke with a man who saw Mica at the park and briefly spoke with her. She waved at him and smiled and said hi. He tells me that it was crowded by the river that day.
And where's that guy? Because then that would be the last person to actually see her, right? Not the guy from the convenience store.
And so she decided to take this trail where there was less people. Mica walked about a mile into the woods. Walking on this trail is a very somber and sad feeling. The man tells me that they used this boat to recover her body. He tells me that one of his buddies was fishing and he heard a woman crying and then a pop sound. One might ask, why did Mica take her life? And upon further digging, her past shows a history of abuse from her husband. Day by day, more reports are released that show details of what he did to her.
Now, let's first talk about, she made this 911 call that a lot of people think is potentially AI. I'm not saying I think that. I'm just saying I understand why people are questioning if it is. But she calls and she says that her reason for calling is she wants her family to know where she is. So then why would you leave this parking lot and go way out into an area where it's hard to find you? And not only that, her phone was not found next to her body. If you want your family to find you, wouldn't you turn your location on and keep your phone with you so that you were easy to locate? Why would she walk all the way out there after then saying she wanted them to?
Why would she go there at all? I get what she's saying. Like, she pulls up into this parking lot and then gets out and then goes in this on this journey back there. But like, why go anywhere if you want your family to find you? Right? It's weird, y'all. There's some weirdness here.
Know where she was. Like, I
Anna Sue, thank you.
Understand maybe why she wouldn't do it in a parking lot. Maybe she didn't want, you know, random people to find her and get traumatized. I'm not sure. But the fact that she walked way out there in the middle of nowhere without her phone on her, she left her bag in a completely different spot. It was found by the fishermen along the water line. So why would she leave those things there and then proceed to walk away from them? That doesn't make sense. It just, I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Like, if you're going
It is weird.
to take your own life, why are you like, okay, I'm gonna leave my bag here and walk further away. Now I'm gonna leave my phone here and walk further. Like, wouldn't you just have it on you? Everyone has their phones on them at all times. What would be the purpose of leaving your phone away from you when you go and do that if you literally said you wanted them to be able?
Breadcrumbs. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm thinking if I'm in a situation like that and I'm being led somewhere and I have any inkling that something crazy is going to happen and I have shit in my purse or like pockets or something like that, I'm going to be like, oops, you know, like trying to just put stuff anywhere. So people ask those kind of questions. Oh, that's weird. Why did they find a bag here? Why was a phone here? Why was this there? She's, what was it, 40 meters the other way? I'd be like trying to like, you know, like pull off some of my beard. I'd be like, let me just drop a few of these beard hairs down here. Trying to like rip off a piece of my shirt or something like that, you know? Something, right?
To find you. It doesn't
Hansel and Gretel this shit.
make sense, but that's not the only thing. Fishermen that
By the way, y'all, shout out to YouTube. We got nearly 600 people watching on YouTube. That's fantastic. Y'all, make sure you subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button for me if you're liking the content. My name's Patrick. I'm live every single night. We do these live streams every single night. We're live on TikTok always. We got 1,000 people watching on TikTok. Y'all, tap the screen like crazy. We're almost at 100,000 likes. Hit the follow button so you can come on in and join these live streams every night. And if you want to see the video, y'all, that's the key. If you want to watch the video that we're watching along with us, come on over to the YouTube. Just search the Mystery Project. It should be pinned on the top of the page right there, y'all. But come on over. Let's see if we can get 600 people watching.
Found her, said that he heard a woman crying, and then he heard the gunshot. The first thing that he found was her bag, okay, that was not near her body. When they located her body, the gun was not on her. They were not able to locate it. What they had to do was they had to use a metal detector and stick it down into the water to find where the gun was. But this is what's interesting about it. The water had no current, and it was apparently really low, and there was no current, so there was no way that the gun and her would have ended up in two completely different spots. It says that the gun was found 40 meters away from her body.
You what?
That was found 40 meters away. I thought they were talking about the phone and the purse being 40 meters away, not the GUN being 40 meters away from where she was. Are you kidding? 40 meters, y'all. That's a pretty long distance for something like that, you know?
That's really far. How is the gun so far away from her when there's no current to take her body or the gun away from each other? And
even if it's a current, it's not going to take it that far. Even if there's like white water rapids, maybe it'll go 5 feet, 10 feet. Because that's not going to just float. That's going to go down to the bottom and then maybe roll on some rocks. That's crazy.
And on top of that, the gun was really hard to find. And then get this. They didn't find one shell casing. They found multiple shell casings. But the
and one in a tree, right?
Fisherman said he heard one gunshot. How did he only hear one gunshot if there were multiple shell casings found? Wouldn't you hear multiple shots? And we talked about this in the previous video, but on top of that, the fact that she was found with bruising on her hands and arms. And
that part is crazy as hell too. When her dad said that, I was like, ooh.
They didn't look into that. They failed this girl. They completely failed her. People are questioning the Fisherman. I'm not saying I am. I'm not putting that claim out there, but I'm going to play this video for you. Fisherman did an interview and it's raising a lot of questions. His story. I'm not saying he did anything. I'm just saying it's interesting. Listen to this.
I also wanted to see firsthand like where this took place because there's so many questions about how she got there and why she was there. And it's all just so confusing to somebody who's been reporting on this.
I heard a cry back when I came in, where I told you I started hearing the crying at. Then I heard a gunshot. That was probably about 2 minutes or so after I started hearing the cry. It might have been a little bit longer than that. I heard a gunshot. It wasn't a loud gunshot. And then the crying just stopped. Right about here, that's when I heard the gunshot. The gunshot went off.
From which side? Over here on the left?
To the left. That's where I heard the gunshot.
In there?
Uh-huh. That's when the crying stopped. That looks totally different from when I came in here. Anyway.
Was it low water when you were here?
No, it was actually less water than what's in here now. So that's the area I went in through with my boat.
How do you get in there if you're not in a boat?
You can't get in there if you. What do you mean?
You can't get in there if you're not in a boat?
How was she in there?
There's a path that comes in there. That's what I told them. There was a path that comes into here. So there's paths all in this river. And there was a path leading straight to where her belongings were laying at.
And then how did you come across her stuff, her belongings?
I just seen it laying up on the bank when I pulled up in here. Yes, sir. It was laying up on the bank. I don't know why I grabbed it. I just grabbed it. Didn't ever look at it or nothing. I got out and I looked around because there was a clearing on the left and the right, and I looked around because I felt like something was wrong, but I never seen nothing. I took the stuff, put it in my boat, went back to the landing. Quit trying to be investigators.
That is strange too, because like I'm trying to put myself in that situation. Okay, I'm out fishing or I'm out doing whatever, riding around on my boat. I hear somebody crying. First off, that's gonna be weird. So I'm gonna be like, I'd probably start maybe trying to get an idea of what that is or who it could be or where that person is gonna be. Katie, thanks for the donut. And then He said a couple minutes later, maybe a little longer than a couple minutes later, you hear. Then I'm definitely going to be kicking it into high gear, trying to find out if somebody's crying, and then I hear that, I'm going to be like, oh, hell no. I'm going to go and try and find something out. I'm not just going to see something there and go, oh, what's this? Oh, belongings? Well, I'm out of here. That's strange. There's just so much weird stuff going on here. Just so much weird stuff. Maybe some people wouldn't. Maybe this guy didn't, or go for help, or something. Maybe some people would. Maybe some people would hear that and then hear that and go, oh, hell no, I'm getting the hell out of here. They might not even grabbed anything. But like, for me, I just feel like I'd be like, ooh, somebody might need my help. You know what I mean? Somebody, because he said it wasn't a loud one. It wasn't a loud shot. So could it have been like a branch breaking? Because that would sound like it, but not be quite as loud. What if somebody fell and was hurt? I'd be like, where you at? I'd be hollering, hey. Especially if I hear somebody cry. Even if I just hear somebody crying. Are you okay? What, are you trapped? You know what I mean? What if somebody's hiking and they fall and break their ankle and they can't move? You hear crying from somebody that's over there, and you're just like, oh, hell no, I ain't trying to deal with that shit. No, I'm trying to go help somebody. Yeah, or call 911 immediately. Yeah, something. It's weird. It's just weird. I mean, and again, like she said, some people think it's that it's weird that he's, something. I have no idea. I'm not that guy, and I wasn't there. I have no idea. I'm just pointing out what I think is bizarre, and that is absolutely bizarre, especially if you're on a boat and you have the ability to go to places that he, by his own admission, said you can't go there without a boat.
I did not do this. There's no way in the world I would harm anybody like that. Even my worst enemy, I would not do nothing like that. I was just here fishing. I can understand people, thinking stuff. It did look odd. He was going to think stuff. I've even been trying to figure out what happened.
I gotta say, the only thing I could think of was like, how in the world did she get back in there? And after talking with her family, knowing that she had to walk through waist-deep water to get there, you can only wonder, like, why? Like, why would she go to these lengths to get into that area?
This is so interesting to me. And like I said, I'm not saying that the fisherman had anything to do with this, but I'm going to replay this clip for you right here.
How do you get in there if you're not in a boat?
You can't get in there if you... What do you mean?
How was she in there?
There's a path that comes in there. That's what I told them. There was a path that comes into here. So there's paths all in there.
That's what I told them.
You what?
Did anybody else catch that? That's the first time I really heard that. Did y'all hear that? That's what I told them. Who's them?
What do you mean?
How was she in there?
There's a path that comes in there. That's what I told them. There was a path.
That's what I told them.
Path that comes into here. So there's paths all in this river.
He starts to say that there's no way to get back in there without a boat. And then he says, oh, there's a bunch of pathways. He also took her bag and went back to the landing, he said, with her stuff and never found her body. And even the man who interviewed the fisherman said that when he went back in there, it just raises more questions of how she got in there, having to go through waist deep water. Her bag was...
Brian, that's true. He told the cops maybe. He could have. Yeah, that's what I told them.
Found 100 yards away from her. That first he found her ID. He says that he heard a woman crying and then a gunshot. But there were multiple shell casings found. The gun is nowhere near her body. She doesn't have her phone on her. She has bruising on her hands. They claim that the bruising on her hands is consistent with someone that would have been holding a gun in that position to take their own life. But that doesn't make any sense to me, accompanied with all these other things. Now get this new tidbit of information. Mica Miller took her own life. They were able to find some camera footage from the highway of John Paul Miller accompanied with someone else nowhere near where she took her own life. And they believe that this excused him from being involved in what happened to her. Now, originally it was said that he was with this woman. I don't remember her name exactly, but it's this woman that he was out to dinner with just days after Mica died. Watch this video.
Whoa.
I also want to note that in this clip, he is quite literally looking up stuff about Mica Miller because you can hear him say a significant development. The fact that in this clip, he is actually looking up
You what? Man, this dude is crazy as hell.
stuff about what was going on and reading about it. And it also looks like he has a smile on his face while doing it. Y'all, something ain't right. So this woman he's smiling with, he's having drinks with, he's out to dinner with, this was allegedly his girlfriend, and it was alleged that that was who he was accompanied with when he was seen in his truck. But his father has come out and said that John Paul Miller was not with her in the car that day, and she also came out and said that they are not dating. So who was he with in the truck that day?
Whoa.
And on top of that, this really gets me. This really gets me because this is behavior from someone who is trying to hide something, and I don't care what anybody says. This is from someone that is trying to hide something. All of this is going on.
Oh, damn.
Right? Where Mica Miller is dead. People are questioning John Paul and his involvement in it and his potential involvement in it, the way that he treated her, the abuse claims. And in the midst of all of this, there's funeral going on. There is a memorial service going on. He's being accused of all these horrific things. He goes and he gets a new truck.
You what? What? What the fuck? You go, what the fuck? You are crazy as hell, dude. Get the other truck. Go find the other truck. I know law enforcement does that shit all the time. Go get that other truck and rip every piece of that thing apart and find everything.
You're telling me that in the middle of mourning the death, the sudden death of your wife, you are going to go in a car lot, pick out a truck and sit in a dealership and
yeah, you're going to test drive some shit, spend 17 hours in a car dealership? Because that's how much it takes. That's how long it takes, y'all, at least.
Sign papers. And I've done that before. That is a process. Sometimes you were in there for a long time. And I can tell you right now that if I lost my husband in a horrific way like this, the last thing on my mind would be, oh, I'm going to go get a new vehicle now. Are you kidding me? I don't see enough people talking about that fact, but
yeah, that is crazy.
That is weird to me. Okay. Now there are some people who have said, oh, he didn't get a new truck. He just had it changed. That I guess there's similarities. There's like there's new rims and like the stripe thing on it is gone, and that he didn't go get a new vehicle, that this one was just modified. His neighbors said,
even if you do that, that's even more weird. That's even stranger.
No, it's a different truck. It's a completely different truck. His neighbor said that. But let's just humor the fact that maybe he did get a remodel of his truck done. Okay? If that's the case, why would you...
You don't remodel your car, y'all. We're all so programmed to be consumers that we buy the newest iPhone every year because we're told the camera is like a little bit better. We don't remodel our cars unless it's like a classic car. You go get a new car. That's what we do. We've been programmed to just buy. That is crazy as hell.
You also do that. Okay? If it is the same truck and you just lost the love of your life and you're so sad and you're mourning the loss of her, why...
You know what I'm going to do? If I'm him, I'm getting in that truck and I'm driving around. I'm listening to that one song. Who sings that song, y'all? It's the one, I drive your truck, I roll every window down. That song. I'm gonna listen to that song, crying my damn eyeballs out, not trading that bitch in. Oh my god, this is crazy. By the way, YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. We got 723 people watching on YouTube and 52 people watching on TikTok. Y'all, YouTube, we might actually overtake the TikTok watchers tonight. That is crazy as hell, y'all. That's the first time that's happened. Thank you so much for the love and the support. My name's Patrick. I'm live every single night. So y'all follow on YouTube or subscribe on YouTube, follow on TikTok. And y'all, I appreciate all the love and the support. Let's keep going.
Why are you going to be like, oh, I'm going to go get some new rims and I'm going to go, you know, change my truck? No. Both things, weird. Not normal behavior from a husband that loves his wife. That is not normal and that is not okay. And there is something wrong with this man and there's some murky waters here. Okay. And we're all looking at him under a microscope right now. And he looks dirty. His hands look red.
He looks crazy as hell.
Now, there's some more bizarre things to talk about here. Before Mica Miller died, John Paul Miller filed a harassment claim against her for posts that she was making on Facebook. I'm going to read some of this to you right here. We're going to go over this. Okay, it says in this harassment claim that John Paul Miller filed against Mica, it is a phone report. It says he is being harassed on social media by text by his wife and her family, would like to make a report about it. This was on March 27th. Actually, a month to the day that Mica was found dead. John said he was being harassed by his wife on social media. They looked at his wife's Facebook post where she talks about abuse. There were no names mentioned and no intent or harassment on the social media platform. John had no texts or proof of harassment and was advised by RO to block any further social media from his wife, and he was also advised to not look at her page since it upset him. John stated that he was a pastor and he was worried about his reputation. RO advised that he could give us a call back if he was being
This dude is crazy as hell.
harassed, but that there was no evidence of that in his claim today. So this police officer tells him, like, just stop looking at her Facebook. Like, what are you doing? Like, if you're so bothered by what she's posting, stop looking at it. But keep in mind, this is probably the situation where John Paul gets all mad and then he goes and takes a topless photo of her and posts it to the internet.
Or lays in the grass acting like a Muppet reject. Sounding crazy.
Get revenge on
every time.
her.
We already know that dude's crazy.
He's trying to file a harassment claim against her and they're like, what are you doing? Like, just block her. Stop looking at her shit. And then he's like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to post nude pictures of her then since the police aren't going to do anything. I'll
Yeah, you can burn in hell for that one too.
literally yell this into oblivion. I will say this as many times as I have to say this, and I've always said this. If you don't want people to talk about the bad shit that you've done to them, then do not do that stuff. Don't do bad things to people. Don't hurt people. Don't abuse people. Don't do things to people that you don't want other people to know. Because you can't then be like, oh, well, stop talking about it. That's not how life works. Not only did he abuse her behind closed doors, but then he made her feel like she was trapped and like she wasn't able to express what she had gone through and have a support system. I mean, there's this video of him at his church and literally yelling to his congregation, like complaining about her, going and talking to other people about their marriage problems, as he's literally talking to his entire congregation about it like he's at some sort of therapy session. Now,
he's a hypocrite.
We need to kind of go into this a little bit deeper, but I need to be very careful with what I say because YouTube doesn't like certain words. So I'm going to have to be careful with how I word this. But now there are some allegations that were made against him that I kind of talked about briefly in my previous video that is claiming that he would take Mica and have homeless men off them.
You what?
Themselves on her. Is that the right way to say that? I'm not sure how else to say that without upsetting YouTube here, but he would have homeless men like get off on her. And his ex-wife also alleges that he had a sex doll of a 4-year-old.
Oh, God.
How dare you?
What? What the fuck?
It is not hard for me to believe the claims of the word that I can't say, the P word that I can't say. It is not hard for me to believe those claims because when he met Mica, she was actually 10 years old. It was originally said she was 14, but she was 10 years old when he met her, and he groomed her entire childhood and teenage life to be his wife, to continue to abuse. It's disgusting. So for his own ex-wife to come out and make these claims against him and to say that he had these issues, this man needs to be locked up. And I have such a serious issue
Just that stuff alone, y'all. What the hell?
Issue with how the authorities handled this situation, because Mica made numerous harassment claims against him and reports. She talked to police officers about his behavior. She talked about how she didn't feel safe. There are numerous witnesses who say that if she ends up with a gunshot wound to her head, that he did it. And they still allowed this man to go see her on multiple occasions and be with her body. And he said he laid with her body, with her dead body. He laid with her. That is severely messed up.
Time to look down here yet. But
oh, this part, y'all.
I got this laid next to her body and spent down with her body about 4 times this week. And each time, it still didn't hit me. I thought she was going to wake up, you know. I even tried to raise her from the dead one time this week. And that morning, actually, I went to the mall later. She had bought me this, a female about 20, 30 feet in front of me. And she was wearing one of Mica's dresses. And she had the same tattoo Mica has on her arm and the exact same hair. And out of just instinct, I screamed, "Mica!" And the girl turned around, and it was one of her sisters. And I thought I raised her from the dead. She's alive, you know.
This man that she made these abuse claims against, they're like, yeah, go spend some time with her and go lay with her. They failed her. I feel so terrible for this girl and what she was going through. Like, it enrages me. She was screaming for help, told numerous people. This was not a quiet situation. It was a known fact with the circle of people around her, the women that she told, her family that she told. And they still allowed this man to spend time with her body and lay with her, and to also make a decision on what happens to her body, on being cremated. And he also would not allow her family to see her unless they agreed to the cremation.
Seeing everything that's being put out, all of the research everybody that's seeing it is doing, there are a lot of unanswered questions, especially with, like we stated, all of the North Carolina laws not requiring toxicologies, autopsies, and things of that nature. And then combined with John Paul stating that our parents had to sign the cremation order before we were allowed to see her, it just raises a lot of red flags for us.
Why would you do that unless you were trying to hide something? Why was he so adamant on getting her cremated where they could never go back and investigate this further? I want to know what police officers.
Well, typically people do that kind of shit because they're trying to hide something.
You what?
Or destroy any chance of ever finding something again. Typically,
officer, what person a part
call me crazy
of the law enforcement in Myrtle Beach goes to that?
And of course, they said that what was it Christina Randall was saying, that they've like forged the notary stuff, like it could have potentially been not her that signed those documents because it wasn't signed in front of the notary that put him power of attorney over all of the medical care and being able to do that kind of stuff, saying, oh no, this is what she wanted. Lord have mercy. Crazy as hell. TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. Tap the screen like crazy. YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up button. We're not quite done yet, but we do have more people watching on YouTube than on TikTok now, y'all. Holy hell. Thank you.
Man's church. That's what I want to know, because there is a lot of money involved in this church, like over $5 million worth of assets in Solid Rock Church in Myrtle Beach. They have a private plane. They have multiple properties. And one thing that I've learned looking at cults and churches and, Scientology, all of that stuff, the fact that churches are tax exempt. One of the things that I have learned looking into all of this crap, these cults, they all are able to get away with so much because of money. And they take money from the people that go to their church. They manipulate them to give them money, tell them God will do this for you if you give me money. Then they go and they invest it in other places. And when people have a lot of money, it's really hard to take them down. Okay. And like in LA, where the Church of Scientology is, the LAPD I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want to get in trouble, but I know that there has allegedly, you know, been some stuff with that where they let them get away with some things. And guess where it all stems from? Money. Who has the money? We're going to protect that guy. That's how it works. So I want to know who in the law enforcement goes to Solid Rock Church or has some sort of investment in them, or there's got to be some sort of connection here. And, you know, maybe there's not, and maybe this is just one of those cases where they just failed someone miserably, which happens a lot. But I'll just never understand that if you have reports from a woman that she's being harassed, that she's being stalked from somebody, why would you just not even do an autopsy and investigate into the situation when there are numerous weird things about it? And then the man that she made these reports against, you just let him in there with her? And not to mention, he sits there and he gets up and he talks about how she had all these mental health issues, right? And she wasn't well. And he sent her to, you know, a mental institution and all this stuff. He did all of this. But he's the one that's getting up in front of his congregation and saying, I tried to raise her from the dead. He said that he...
You what? Yup, that's real.
Tried to...
Unfortunately. Carol, thank you.
Raise her from the dead. And you're calling her mentally ill? Honey, it is you. You are the one that is mentally ill to get up there and say, I tried to raise her from the dead and I thought it worked and I thought I saw her in the mall and it was her sister. What is wrong with you? Not to mention, let me insert this clip right here of him having a total mental breakdown laying on the grass outside.
You okay? Huh? You okay? What's the matter? Huh? What's the matter?
He's crazy as hell, that's what.
You switched to medication. Makes me go crazy. Somebody helping you? Oh, okay. I thought I was going to see Jesus.
You thought you were going to see Jesus? Well, one day you will.
Okay. But you got Mark coming?
Somebody call him. Like, this man is a big man baby and he needs to be locked up. Look at him in this clip, okay? This was at...
Not even a man baby. That's just a loser. That's just a weak ass dude.
Her memorial service, and I have never been to a memorial service or a funeral where during the slideshow of the images, somebody gets up there and just talks over all of them and makes the entire thing about them. He gets up there and just talks about himself as they're looking at these pictures of her and fake cries and like it's like this weird fake cry laugh thing. Just watch this clip.
I'm in the picture. She would tell me how to stand, how to smile. If it wasn't good, she'd delete it and say, we're redoing it. She'd get tourists to take our picture, and I say, okay, thank you. She said, oh, no, this isn't good. Give it back to them, and they do it again, you know. But she told me that she was so creative. Everything she did was so creative. What's the next picture? What's the next picture?
You're not even really crying.
She'd stop. We'd be on the way to like a show or something. She'd say, stop, I gotta get a picture. I said, we're gonna be late. She said, I don't care. What's the next picture? Next picture. So one of the things she did for me is I'm a comic guy, right? So this is things she did that was...
Oh, God. Shout out to Vicky Rose, though. Thank you for the love, the off-the-grid love. That's a unicorn, too. So sweet. You said for FJP and F buying coins on TikTok, I'm invested, P. Vicky, thank you for the love. You're so sweet.
Just out of the givingness of her, she dressed up like Mystique, the last one. So the next picture, she loved this picture. She thought that was the funniest picture in the world. And when her and I take it back to the other one, I want to see it. When we go places like this, everybody asked to have a picture with her. Everywhere we went, they asked to have a picture with her. Is there okay? The next one's a Spider Girl picture. She did that, and I'll show that. Okay, keep going. Wonder Woman, that was her favorite. Everybody knew her as Wonder Woman. Oh my goodness. Okay, what's after that? In Bermuda, she loved Bermuda. That was a picture of that. Next. Oh, so Mica loved doing dangerous things as well. So she loved skydiving, and she would beg me to do these things with her.
I mean, he even talks about all these things that she did for him, right? It was all about what she did for you. And before I wrap this up, I'm gonna read some text messages to you all right here in a voiceover of some of the things that he said to her in text messages that were revealed by Mica's dad. This is a
Oh, hell.
text message that John sent to her family after she was found dead. This is what happens when you try to encourage someone to divorce the person they love and tell them they don't need medicine and they are not mentally ill when they are. Good job, Francis family. Is this how you speak
I cannot believe that dude said some shit like that. That is one of the craziest things I've heard.
to a family who just lost their daughter and their sister? Mica's dad also shared these text messages where he says, I'm armed, I'm ready. And she said, armed? And he said, Mica can fix all of this. She said, this doesn't help anything. Threats and intimidation only make matters worse. He said, I don't care. Driving, can't text. Thanks. Mica says, if you come here, the cops will be here waiting. If you stay home, they don't need to be involved. You can't make a threat about being armed and come to my home in the middle of the night. That's not safe for anyone involved. And he says, fine by me. This is a picture from Mica's phone. She had John Paul saved in her phone as Honey Baby. He says, my blood is on you and my kids will know I couldn't take it without you. All you had to do was come home to me, but you wouldn't do it. I'm done. All you had to do was love me enough to drive home to me. You don't even care that much about me. I love you. I'm sorry. Tell Sierra I'm sorry. All of this started because of one bad decision a month ago in Colombia. If I could turn back time, I would. We had the greatest marriage in the world up until that one wrong choice. It can continue down that path or we can have an amazing marriage once again. The choice is yours. Love you. If you come home today, we can take off the rest of the year and go to counseling every day. Go to Iceland. Do whatever in order to get well. I also desperately want a child with you. I'm just scared of this. This is the only reason I wouldn't. I'm scared of divorce or putting the child through things like this where you leave and aren't willing to do whatever it takes. Something ain't right with this case. And I hope they find something and they're able to get him for something because that man is not right. Something is wrong here and we all see it. And that's one of the good things about the internet is that people are able to look deeper into stuff because people leave videos and pictures and make posts. It's easier to track down the truth. And it's not always what is told to us by law enforcement. That's not always the truth. Sometimes there's more to it. And in this case, there is more to it.
Oh, man. Seems that way. Absolutely seems that way. Wow, that's some good ones, y'all. If you're just tuning in, it's about to go live on YouTube. You can rewatch the live stream on YouTube. 700 people watching on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, y'all. Hit the thumbs up button. I love you guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Be safe.